Hey everyone, so in this video I'm going to share with you my VBAC birth plan. I was on YouTube looking at a few different videos, and in the end I had to come up with my own thing because I realized that I have very specific requests, especially in regards to a C-section if that's needed, just because it's based on past experiences that I had with my daughter, and I'm hoping that I won't have any negative experiences this time around. The plan, if all my wishes are respected, no matter which way I deliver, I should have a pretty awesome birth experience, so that's what I'm hoping for. It's a simple plan. It's a one-page birth plan, but it's very detail-oriented, so nurses, from my experience, generally like one-pagers, but the more detailed the things are, the less likely they are to read it or just rather skim over it. So we do have a plan. When I go into the hospital, we're going to stop if we have time. If we don't have time, I'm going to send Matthew, because it's important to me that my wishes are read and respected as much as possible. But we're doing coffee and muffins for the nurses. So if we show up saying, here's some coffee and muffins with my very detailed birth plan, we're hoping that it gets read. If not, Matthew knows my birth plan off by heart. We are very much on the same page, so if things are ever come into question or there's confusion on something, if I'm unable to speak, he can speak for me. Alright, so I will do top to bottom, and my birth plan basically says at the top, it says birth wishes. I've learned last time, don't go in with a plan, don't go in with your heart set on one thing, because you might get disappointed in the end with how it goes. So birth wishes for our name. And in the little paragraph at the beginning, it says, please know that we are planning and hoping to achieve a VBAC and doing everything possible to achieve this. Unfortunately, I experienced a lot of birth trauma with my daughter, so if a non-stat C-section ends up being needed, we request a very, all in bold, very family-centered section and would like it to closely resemble a vaginal birth. Thank you so much for taking part in such a special day in our lives. And then at the end of that paragraph, there's a space, and it says things to note. And I'm 99% sure that all this is listed in my files, but I just want it right there, big and bold, so everybody can see it and make sure that they know this, because it's really important. Things to note: mother has SVT. If you followed my videos before, you know what SVT is, and I'm Rh negative. We'd also like to request a nurse who is VBAC friendly and experienced. There's a few nurses at my hospital who are kind of not for VBAC, and they don't really have any problems letting you know about that. So I don't want any negativity in my delivery room. I want somebody who's positive and excited and on the same page with us. And I also have placenta is being saved to encapsulate. So this is where the plan / wishes begin. For labor, I want wireless continuous fetal monitoring. I think it's super important to have continuous fetal monitoring, even if it's not wireless. You can't always feel, there's not always signs leading up to uterine rupture. One of the first signs is fetal distress, and that is picked up with the monitor, so I think it's super, super important to have the continuous monitoring. I do not want any students. I was the same way with Ellie's birth. Maybe when I'm in the pushing phase and they want to come in and see or observe that, that's fine with me, but I hate to say it like this, and I don't mean to say I'm like a negative Nelly, but I don't want to be the guinea pig. I want somebody who's had lots of VBAC births, who knows what the signs of uterine rupture are, who knows if something is wrong. I want an experienced doctor. Thankfully, all the doctors are at my hospital, and they do VBACs all the time, but I just don't want any students involved. I want free movement, especially if I have the wireless fetal monitoring. The free movement really isn't an issue. No pain medications. No pain medications unless requested, and upon request, please check dilation to see if I would still like them. And I would prefer positive reinforcement to avoid any pain meds. Wait, how did I word that? Would prefer positive reinforcement to avoid any pain meds. Oh yes, I was fixing something. All right. Request use of squat bar and birthing ball. And I would like no time limits on laboring if all is well with a baby and I. Sometimes they like to put a limit of 12 hours. If you're in labor, in active labor, and you're not delivered in 12 hours, they usually send you for a C-section. I'm not doing that if everything is okay. For birth, I would like to wait until I feel the urge to push before I do any sort of pushing. I think it's less pressure on my scar, maybe. That's just my frame of mind. I would like to push in whatever position feels best at the time. No episiotomy, and if one is required, please use freezing before cutting. Absolutely no stitches unless needed in regards to a tear. Sometimes if you have like a 1st degree tear or a 2nd degree tear, sometimes those cuts can be healed without the use of stitches, so I want to avoid that unless it's needed. Immediate skin to skin, please don't wipe off the vernix, would prefer it to be rubbed into the skin. Matthew's going to cut the cord. No eye ointment or vaccines, vitamin K is okay, and help with breastfeeding is requested. So for a non-stat C-section, a lot of people ask me, how are you going to have it resemble a vaginal birth? Well, there's some things that happen in a vaginal birth that don't always get to happen in a C-section, and I'm really hoping that if this isn't the position that I'm needed, the one thing that I want above anything else is to see him be born. I never got to see Ellie be born, and that to me would be a very healing experience. Obviously, this is a non-stat where they don't have to like rush to get the baby out and like knock you unconscious, obviously, but if nothing else can be followed through with this plan, I'm just hoping that's the one thing that they do, and I've talked to them and it doesn't seem to be a problem. The other things might be. I would like a spinal. I had a spinal with Ellie and I had no problems there. It's very important to me to view his birth with the drape being lowered as he's being born. Very important to me that after his head is delivered, that he's born very slowly as if it would happen in a vaginal delivery to aid with less fluid being in his lungs. So, this is a problem we had with Ellie. Most C-section babies actually do have this problem because they are not squeezed out through the birth canal, so they still have all the fluid that's left in their lungs. And Ellie had a problem with choking on the mucus after she was born. During a vaginal delivery, that's less likely to happen, so I'm hoping to avoid this by him being born slowly, like he would be in a vaginal birth. I have to sneeze. Excuse me. Immediate skin-to-skin requested. I don't see that being a problem. Would like him to remain there for the rest of surgery. That might be an issue. Or dad to hold him until we are ready to go to recovery as a family. I don't think it would be a problem for, like, obviously I want to hold my baby there for the rest of surgery, but it might take them a while to do any repairs that they need to be done. But generally from my experience with myself and with all the doula clients that I've had that needed a C-section, the way it works is after the baby's born, they let you see the baby for a few minutes, and if you watch my birth video with Ellie, it was like literally probably 20 seconds that I got to see her. And then they told Matthew that they were going to take her to recovery, and he went with her, and I stayed there for the rest of surgery. I don't want that to happen this time around. I absolutely do not want to be separated from Matthew or the baby until we're ready to go to the recovery room as a family. Most times you'll meet the baby and your partner there in the recovery room after surgery. I don't see why, unless there's a problem or whatever, I don't see why we can't wait. a lot of the newborn procedures happened that I never got to see, like including having her being weighed. Like I missed out on that, and so it may not seem like a big deal to somebody, but I just want to heal from my last birth experience, so this would do it. As I said, I don't want to be separated from my baby or husband at any time unless NICU is required. And I'm hoping for the umbilical cord to be kept long so Dad can trim it. I don't know if when he's born, if they would let Matthew reach over the sterile field and let him cut the umbilical cord. I highly doubt it. But in some cases, in a family-centered C-section, they do leave it quite long and will let the partners cut the cord after it's been cut. Do you know what I mean? They let them trim it. And the only thing I have on there for postpartum is please do not bathe the baby. So I think that closely resembles what I had for Ellie's birth, except for the C-section stuff. Oops, my phone. Yeah, except for the C-section stuff, I don't think I had any of that because it wasn't even on my radar, but we're hoping it's going to closely resemble this. Now, if I need a C-section and everything goes according to this is going to be by far the best birth experience ever. So, and hopefully I won't have any complications after delivery like I did with Ellie. Alright, so that's all I can think of, and next I'm going to do my hospital and labor bag. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.